So good morning students. Today we will continue with a new topic, that is absorption in the same chapter, chapter number 2. In that we are going to continue the second topic, that is the absorption of carbohydrate, proteins and lipids. So first we will talk about what do you mean by this absorption. Okay. What is the exact meaning of absorption, where it will take place, then we will go for the first absorption of carbohydrates. See, next topic, it is absorption. Absorption. Okay, what do you mean by this absorption? First, absorption is a passage of digested food. What it is? It is a absorption is the passage of digested food material through the lining of intestine, food material through the lining of intestine. Okay, through the lining of intestine into the blood or lymph. Into the blood or lymph. This is the meaning or definition of what? Absorption. Till now we had studied only about the digestion. Okay. But today we will talk about after digestion, which process is going to take place. How? See, each and every cell requires the nutrients. Okay. Who is going to circulate that nutrients? That is blood or lymph. For example, these are the cells or tissues. These cells require the nutrients. From there, it is going to get the nutrients. Means here, this is the intestine duodenum. Then here it continues with the small intestine. Okay, this is the small intestine. Okay, so the passage of food, it is the passage of digested food, not undigested food. What it is? Passage of digested food material through the lining of intestine. Okay, here if you take this section of this intestine, for example, this is the one part of the intestine. The lining, this is the lining of the intestine. Okay, the material, here from here, the digested food material is going to pass. From that digested food material, whatever the nutrients, for example, you can take carbohydrate, that is glucose, amino acids, okay, fatty acids and all, that is going to be absorbed by this lining of what? Of the small intestine. Okay, so this small intestine, here you see, this gets absorbed by the lining of small intestine. Then here there will be presence of some vessels, like this. Some vessels will be present, and these vessels either it will contain the lymph, or either it may contain these vessels are the lymphatic vessels or the blood vessels. Okay, that vessels will carry the food or the nutrients to whom? To each and every cells of the body. In this way, the digested food is going to get to whom? To the cells or the tissues. Through what? Here it is the passage of digested food material through the lining of intestine into the blood or lymph. through the blood or lymph, it is going to circulate it to whole part of the body. Okay, from which part of the alimentary canal it is going to absorb? That is only from the small intestine, and some part that is from the large intestine. Only from the intestine, not from any other part. Okay, means a major quantity of the nutrients are going to absorb in the small intestine and very little in the mouth and in the stomach. Okay, so next, various factors are involved in this process of absorption. It includes diffusion, hydrostatic pressure, osmotic pressure, absorption, then hydrotrophy. What does it include? What are the means? How it is going to be absorbed? That is why it includes by, or it is going to absorb by diffusion. Diffusion, then hydrostatic pressure, then osmotic pressure, diffusion, hydrostatic pressure, osmotic pressure, then absorption, hydrotrophy. Absorption, and one more, that is hydrotrophy. By all these means, the absorption is going to take place. What are that? That it is diffusion, hydrostatic pressure, osmotic pressure, absorption, and hydrotrophy. By all these mechanism or by all these processes, the absorption will take place. See, absorption can occur by passive or active transport. Okay, you know the difference. It may also occur by active or passive transport. What do you mean by this active and passive transport? Means with the help of energy, absorption may take place, or without the expenditure of energy, absorption may take place. So this is about what? See, absorption cannot be explained on the basis of physiochemical conditions. So this is only applied to the absorption. Okay, next, what is the site of absorption, where actually it is going to take place? Let's see about that. Next is site of absorption. In which region the absorption will take place? The first one, in mouth, absorption does not occur. Okay, the first digestion process will start from the mouth or oral cavity, but there the absorption does not take place. However, very little absorption takes place in the stomach. Okay, see here, first mouth. In mouth there will be no absorption, or absorption does not occur. Okay, then second, in stomach. Second part, that is the stomach. In stomach, very little absorption will take place. Very little absorption takes place, such as the absorption of simple molecules like glucose. Only glucose is going to absorb in what? In the stomach. Very little absorption takes place, such as glucose, absorption of glucose. Okay, so in mouth totally no absorption. In stomach a little bit absorption, that is the absorption of simple molecules, that it is the glucose. Okay, here all absorption takes place. Rest all the absorption, that is protein, steroids, salts, fats, carbohydrate, every absorption will take place in the small intestine. Okay, so here, why it is taking place in small intestine only? Why not in the stomach? Why not in the other part of the alimentary canal? Means so, this is because the small intestine offers a large surface area for absorption. Because small intestine provides a large area for absorption, large surface area provides large surface area for absorption. Okay, how? Why it is providing? Means so it is apparent area is increased from 3 to 12 times by finger-like projections called the villi. Why? Because in the small intestine there is a presence of finger-like projections, and that finger-like projections are responsible for increasing the surface area for absorption. And what are that finger-like projections means? They are called as the villi. What is called as? It is called as the villi. Okay, which is responsible for increasing the surface area. Okay, which project into the lumen of the intestine. This villi projects into the lumen of intestine. How means? I will show you here. See here. See, this is the small intestine. Okay, this is the lining of small intestine. And this part we can call it as the lumen of small intestine. Okay, so here whatever the lumen part is there, here see, first of all, the lining of small intestine, it will be having finger-like projections, that it is known as the villi, such as like this. Okay, so these finger-like projections are known as the villi. What are these finger-like projections? These are known as the villi. On both the sides, there will be presence of such finger-like projections. Okay, which increases the surface area of absorption. And the next thing here, that this villi is facing or it is present towards the lumen. You can see how it is facing towards the lumen of small intestine. Okay, so it is through this villi that most absorption takes place. In the center of each villus is a vessel called. See, if you take one villi, for example, this is one villi. Okay, in the center of each villi, that most of the absorption will take place through this villi. and in the center of each villus is a vessel, and that vessel is called as the lacteal. This is the villi. In the center, there is a presence of one vessel. Okay, and this vessel, it is a vessel, and this vessel is known as the lacteal. What it is known as? It is known as the lacteal. In the center of the villi, there is a presence of a vessel, and that vessel is known as the lacteal. Okay, so this lacteal is filled with a lymph or a colorless fluid. This lacteal, it is filled with colorless fluid or lymph. Okay, so here in the center region of villi, there is a presence of one vessel which is known as lacteal, which is filled with colorless fluid or lymph. Okay, the next around the lacteal is a network of capillaries by means of which blood is brought very close to the surface. This lacteal, around this lacteal, there is a presence of a network of capillaries. How means? For example, this is the villi. Around this, there is a presence of a network of capillaries like this. It is totally surrounded by this is the network of capillaries. Okay, where it is surrounding the lacteal. Okay, by means of which blood is brought very close to the surface. By means of this network of capillaries, by means of which blood is brought very close to the surface. Okay, in this way, the blood vessels are going to carry that nutrients from the intestine to the all cells of the all parts of the body. Okay, first of all, in the intestine there will be presence of finger-like projections, which are known as the villi. Okay, which increases the surface area, and in each villi there will be presence of a vessel located at the center, which is known as the lacteal, and this lacteal, which is filled with colorless fluid or the lymph, and this lacteal is surrounded by a network of capillaries. Okay, that network of capillaries, it is going to carry the blood, or by means of which the blood is going to carry it to the surface area of the intestine, by which they can easily take away the nutrients from the surface of the intestine. Okay, so this is about what? The site of absorption. Next, first we will see about the absorption of carbohydrates. So next we will see about the first process, that it is absorption of carbohydrates. First, absorption of carbohydrates. How the carbohydrates are going to absorb in the small intestine. First we will see that one. See here, after digestion, carbohydrates of the blood are in the form of monosaccharide. After digestion, what happens? Whatever the carbohydrates which are going to pass through the blood, it will be in the form of what? Monosaccharides. See here, carbohydrates of blood, are in the form of simple sugars or monosaccharides. Are in the form of monosaccharides. Monosaccharides such as glucose, fructose and galactose. Monosaccharides means that is glucose, fructose and one more, that is galactose. Okay, after digestion, whatever the polysaccharide complex sugar molecules will be there, it is going to convert into the monosaccharide, that it is glucose, fructose or galactose. Then these monosaccharides are absorbed directly in the bloodstream. So some absorption into the lymph undoubtedly occurs. See, these monosaccharides are absorbed. These monosaccharides are absorbed directly into the bloodstream. Are absorbed directly into the bloodstream. Okay, directly it is going to passes through the bloodstream. Okay, during absorption they are combined with the phosphoric acid. Here during absorption what happens means, during absorption this monosaccharide combines with the phosphoric acids. Monosaccharides such as glucose, fructose, galactose, these are going to combine with the phosphoric acid. Here, for example, monosaccharide combines with the phosphoric acid. Okay, with whom it is going to combine? That it is phosphoric acid. Okay, so here, after combining with phosphoric acid, it will form a hexose phosphates. Monosaccharide combines with the phosphoric acid and forms a hexose phosphate. What it will form? It will form a hexose phosphates. Okay, so this hexose phosphate apparently it is going to hydrolyzed. Since hexoses are found in the blood rather than hexose phosphate. Okay, this hexose phosphate further it gets hydrolyzed. It gets hydrolyzed. Then what happens means, after hydrolyzation, this hexose will come, hexose phosphate will change into what means that it is the hexoses. So you will find in the blood that it is hexoses. This hexoses will found in blood. Found in the blood, okay, rather than hexose phosphate, because hexophosphate, it is going to hydrolyzed. Okay, then it will enter into the bloodstream in the form of what? Hexoses. If you want to see that how monosaccharides are going to carried by the blood, means that is in the form of hexoses. Okay, so blood carries these hexoses into the liver. See here, blood here, the blood carries hexoses into the liver. Here, the blood will be in the form of hexoses, and that hexoses from the blood, it is going to carry it to the liver. Okay, the next here, where they are converted into the glycogen. When these hexoses carried to the liver, in the liver, it is going to, that hexoses is going to convert it into the glycogen. In which form it is going to convert? That it is in the form of glycogen. Okay, so it is a form of glucose which is stored in the liver. Okay, so undigested disaccharides are not absorbed. The next point, that undigested disaccharides are not digested or not absorbed. It is not going to be absorbed. Okay, the next thing here, lactose is easily digested than maltose and sucrose. Lactose easily gets digested, as compared to the maltose and galactose. Okay, so this is about what? About the digestion of absorption of carbohydrates. So here, next thing, hence may find its way to the lower regions of the small intestine. Whatever the maltose, galactose, or sorry, it's sucrose. Whatever the maltose, sucrose will be there, it's find its way for absorption in the lower region, that is in the ileum and all. They will find the way of absorption. Okay, so the next some amount may even reach to the large intestine, which is not absorbed in the small intestine, that may reach to the large intestine also. The next here, it may reach the large intestine, where it may serve as a food for intestinal organisms. Okay, whatever the food which is reaching undigested, absorbed in the small intestine, where it will reach to the large intestine, there it will found some organisms will be there. For example, E. coli will be there and all that. So that is going to be, so they are found that their food by that particular sugar molecules. Okay, so the next here, certain lactose fermenting microorganisms also getting the food from that particular sugar molecules. Okay, the next that is about the absorption of fats and proteins. We will discuss in the next class. Okay, thank you.